It can travel anywhere in time and space.
Right. This is gonna be fun.
Off we go into time and space!
Welcome to Time and Space, the Nerd Party's dedicated Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Phillip Gilfus.
Double duty there.
It's a burden I would carry.
Fun stuff. So what have we done this week, my love?
Well, last week, we went to...
It's Monday, so...
Yeah, it all comes together. But last week, we went to the movie theater to see Doctor Who, of course.
Yes.
Of course, we're very excited to talk about the second episode, but if we can go back in time to episode 1 for just a moment, which we covered last week with Sue. But we got to see it on the big screen. We got to see some featurettes, all that wonderful stuff. And, you know, we watched it on BBC America when it first aired, which in retrospect was a mistake. But anyway, but what did you think of seeing it on the big screen?
Well, I think first we should talk about the Cheetos popcorn combination.
You did experiment with Cheetos popcorn at the movie theater.
It is not something I will do again.
Okay.
But, so yes, what did I think of it on the big screen? I saw obviously much more. I mean, my watching of it was more focused. Obviously, it was huge on the big screen.
And commercial free.
Very much so, yeah. So, there are bits and pieces. Like we talked last week, and I didn't remember that the guy kept taking teeth out of everybody. And I definitely picked up on it that time. Mm-hmm. So, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely places that I thought were, again, watching BBC America when there were a million commercials. And I swear there was one scene that I saw twice on BBC America where it wasn't there in the actual sort of the feature version there. But I mean, obviously it's just much cleaner when there's no commercials. Episode 2, which we'll talk about, we both watched recorded, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we could fast forward the commercials, much better experience. Really.
Yes. Well, and also because Great Britain has fewer commercial breaks. Mm-hmm. So when we get it in America, the commercial breaks are sometimes really weird because the show itself hasn't had those built in kind of things. Mm-hmm. So, it can get a little bit choppy.
And then I forget what time it started, 7:30? Is that when?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And so there was sort of some nice featurettes at the beginning and the end. Though I have to admit, I was kind of tired at the end, so I was kind of like, okay.
Oh, good. I was too.
But I mean, it was interesting though because they sort of had some beginning featurettes, which were small with Jodie and everyone else, and at the end they had some longer ones talking about the episodes, the director who's going to be directing a bunch of episodes of the series. Who did I think he did one of the promo things as well. But anyway, I was like, okay, wrap it up. But I think the coolest part of the featurettes, and they talked about a lot, we won't talk about everything, was when Jodie explained her earring. Because I haven't really gotten a good look at it, to tell you the truth, but now that she's explained it, now I see it, where for those who haven't heard the explanation yet, so there's 2 points. There's the top part in her ear, which is sort of like a star field. Like it's silver, I think.
I think there's a gold star and a silver star, isn't there? Okay. Or is it? No, you might be right. It may just be a silver
and then the
star.
chain comes down, and there's sort of 2 hands, and one is the silver hand, which is supposed to be her or the doctor's hand coming from the stars, and then the golden or whatever hand is supposed to be humanity, of course. And so I thought that was pretty cool because now that she's explained it, now that I see it, now I notice it more.
Yes.
Because it looked like first I thought like a bunch of earrings or whatever, but now that it all makes sense.
Yes, yeah. Also, the director seems really young. Is that the case, or are we just really old?
I think we're just really old. Well,
things happen.
So speaking of bringing in some youngness, we're going to talk about Episode 2, The Ghost Monument, Series 11, Episode 2, premiered October 14th, 2018. But before we begin our synopsis, let's bring in our wonderful guest, and that's Michelle. Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good.
Yes, welcome.
Glad to be here.
So, Johnny, you want to read the synopsis, and then we'll plunge into it?
I'm dying to read the synopsis. Here we go. Stranded on an alien planet infamously called Desolation, can the Doctor find her way to the TARDIS as she promised her new friends? Will her newest company be of any help when they're also racing against each other? And what exactly is the Ghost Monument?
It's the TARDIS.
Spoilers.
I know.
Darling.
But Michelle, I know you've just finished watching it again. So what are your just initial thoughts about the Ghost Monument episode Dose?
I liked it a lot. The first one, I thought it was very solid. But like I listened to your first episode or your synopsis of the first episode, and like you said, it had to do a lot of exposition, so it was definitely more for introducing the characters. But the second one, I actually liked the story a lot better. We got a new planet, some new side characters, new villain too, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, new alien planet. Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water,
Don't
and
even
for
touch
God's
it.
sake, do not look sideways at that scarf thingy because it will come for you.
Well, Darling, what'd you think of episode 2, the sophomore?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it as well. It had a nice balance for me because I'm not as much of a science fiction. So when they do a lot of the science fiction episodes, but this had enough fantasy in it that I was still really intrigued by the whole thing. And I loved the basic, the race and all of that stuff. The rally, yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I think having watched it twice, I did like it. It did kind of strike me as sort of they're still introducing, which I mean makes sense, but I'm sort of like, we can go a little faster now, like learn a little bit more about. It almost seems like it's sort of like part 2 of, this is sort of this 2-hour long premiere. This is sort of the second hour because they're sort of still just feeling each other out. And I know it's only the second episode, but it's sort of like, okay, let's a little bit forward, a little more, because it doesn't got a lot to do really. I mean, we learn a little bit more about her family,
yes.
and then, but I don't know. I guess I with Doctor Who, as opposed to other things, I don't try to put a lot of expectations on Doctor Who. I just enjoy it. It's entertainment. I mean, I really like it, of course. That's why I do a podcast about it. But, so that's why I was like, yeah, because the Doctor still feels like she's feeling herself out. And I guess that's fair, maybe. But
yeah, and you're right. But I think that's one of the difficulties, one of the challenges, maybe, with having 3 companions and the Doctor and, of course, side characters. People are going to end up being left out a little bit in order to give a fully fleshed out piece sometimes. So I think it is a challenge for the writers.
Agreed. I don't think we got to see much of Yaz yet in either episode, and I'm interested in seeing where she goes and what she does more.
Yeah, and exploring the relationship that she has with Ryan in terms of, childhood friends. She has the moment in the first episode where she's like, "Hi, Ryan's Nan." So, they knew each other well enough to have, for her to be able to say something like that. So then where did they drift and things like that?
It was a very sweet moment between them when he's coming down from the ladder because he has trouble with ladders where she's waiting. And he says, "Thank you for waiting." And she responds, "Always." And that seems like a very good supportive friend thing to do. Yes,
which then lends itself to, so what happened? And maybe that'll flesh out some more.
I mean, that's what I don't know. I hope it stays a friendship.
I agree. I don't want it to be a romantic thing necessarily. But, I think there's more to it, to the relationship that is yet to come.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, since she doesn't have a lot, let's just give her a couple minutes. Yeah, Michelle, what did you sort of think of Yaz in this episode and previously, and what are you hoping to see with her?
She does seem like somebody who very much needs rules and logic to apply. I don't know if she's going to be like the skeptic or the one who gets confused all the time. I think that's more, what's the granddad's name? Graham,
yeah.
Bradley Walsh.
Bradley Walsh.
I like her so far. I think it's kind of cool to have a cop as a companion. Has that happened before? I haven't watched any classic Who, so I'm not sure.
Great. I have to do like 55 years in my head.
Think fast.
Not off the top of my head.
Wasn't Donna's grandpa in the Peter Cushing film?
Well, we're really stretching it at that point.
I understand, and we agreed never to mention it before, but yes, in the second Peter Cushing film,
which doesn't
count and doesn't really exist.
But anyway, because we were listening to another podcast. It's like the old days, and you can be like on another network. No, we were listening to Verity podcast. It's a great Doctor Who podcast. People should listen to it. But they were talking about how the guy who plays Andy in Torchwood was tweeting like, how come the cop got in the TARDIS so fast?
Yeah, yes.
Because he didn't get to do that in Torchwood. But anyway, yeah, cool. Yeah. And so, I mean, Michelle, just to spotlight you. So, like, I mean, having sort of gone through your Whovian history, kind of where are you coming from in the Doctor Who fandom? As you sit down to watch the 13th Doctor?
I guess I'm pretty new to it. I didn't start watching until maybe the first season of Matt Smith's was done. So, but I did start at the beginning of the 2005, the New Who. Mm-hmm. Generally really like it. I didn't enjoy the later Matt Smith and early Peter Capaldi as much, but it did get better, and I'm optimistic about the new Doctor and Jodie Whittaker.
So the Clara era did not do it for you?
No.
It sounds like.
I was hearing that too.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that's one thing about this series that I'm always interested in, because, you're getting, hopefully, a lot of new fans. I mean, judging from the 10 million people who watched it, which is one of the highest premiere Doctor Who, I think, or at least one of them. Obviously, now will they stay? I haven't seen episode 2's numbers. But anyway. But going on to episode 2, also, so we talked about Yaz. Let's talk about Graham and Ryan. I think it's, again, interesting that they have this familial relationship, whether, forced or not. But Jessica, how do you think that Grandpa and Ryan are doing?
Well, I think Graham's pushing it a little bit. When he had that moment of, oh, you're still not going to call me Grandpa. No, especially not now that Grandma's dead, But it was a nice moment of coming together. They got a chance to talk about Ryan's Nan and then fix things, which is so often how
men do it.
How men bond. You can tell us more about that, darling.
Yeah, right. But I am finding Graham really interesting because he's very, I don't know, it's not even tropish, but he's an older gentleman, and I mean, he's not that old, but he's an older gentleman, but he is sort of modern Grandpa in that he cares about Ryan and he wants to talk about what's happened, and Ryan doesn't, for many reasons, but he's sort of and then, making sort of jokes, about what Grace would say and everything. And he's very tender, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Even though,
endearing.
Even though the trope is he's supposed to be the blue collar bus driver, but
But he's the one who wants to talk about, and he rocked a pair of Audrey Hepburn's glasses. Or Pythagoras's.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's still out.
What are you thinking about the two men? What are you thinking about that, Michelle?
I like it a lot. I think it's a different kind of male relationship than we typically see in Doctor Who. You've got men talking about their feelings and kind of working out their relationship and what they mean to each other, and it's sort of a non-toxic masculinity, if you will. I don't know. Yeah.
And have there been 2 male companions?
Oh my God, no companion. Well, I mean, of course, there haven't been many companions. In other words, I'm trying to say multiple companions at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
And so, I'm thinking of, the 5th Doctor always comes to mind when you had Adric, Tegan, and Nyssa, of course, 2 women, and then Adric died. Spoilers. And then Turlough eventually came along, but again, it was just Turlough. So 2 men is well, of course, the Doctor was usually man. So.
The only male companion I have any experience with is Rory, and he was kind of in that weird love triangle with Amy and the Doctor. And,
yeah.
Not my favorite.
But there's not often a lot of course, adult men also. Graham brings the adults, older companion. We haven't had any older companions, if not any.
Yeah, I suppose so. I hadn't thought of that.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting how the 2 of them were at the beginning of the episode when they thought it was just them. They were taking things well. What do I do? I don't know. Follow her, I guess. We'll
figure it out. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to explore, because we did have that moment in the first episode where Ryan's talking about he pushed the button and unleashed the stenza or whatever, and Graham says, "Oh, are you going to blame that on your dyspraxia as well?" Right. Which I found really quite sharp.
Yeah, it seemed random.
I wonder if we're going to see that rear its head again. Mm-hmm. So no, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Doctor, because it's called Doctor Who. But I just thought, again, I felt like in a lot of ways, she's still finding herself. The evil paper bag tells her that she's still scared of her own newness, I believe was the quote.
Yeah. It was a scarf, darling. It wasn't a paper bag.
It was something out of Harry Potter. That's all I got. And so I think we see a lot more of her, obviously, and who she is and what this Doctor is going to be like. So, Michelle, what are you sort of seeing from the 13th Doctor this episode? Both new and old and everything in between.
So far, I like her. She's very different from Peter Capaldi's Doctor. Very, very different. She's paying a lot more attention to interpersonal interactions. And she's like stopping and taking moments to make sure everybody's okay, or to tell
Ryan. Mm-hmm.
Telling Ryan he's doing a good job, and that it's very brave of him to keep going even though he's scared. And yeah, I like her. She's very smart. She owns it. She knows what she's good at.
Which is everything so far.
So far.
Yeah. One thing, and I don't know, so y'all feel free to attack me because it's about to go into dangerous territory with female characters. I feel like she does apologize a lot, and I don't know whether I noticed that because she's, would Matt Smith do the same? I think, in other words, I'm saying yes, but it's a lot of, I promised you, I'm sorry. Just like the first episode, she's like, I'm sorry you had to see this. I'm sorry you had to see this death. And today she's like, I'm sorry, I made a promise at the end of the episode. I'm just like, okay. She's being empathetic. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just like, I hope she doesn't do that every episode, at some point. I don't know. What am I asking for? That she just, doesn't say sorry when she probably should, when she's put these people in harm's way, purposefully or accidentally. So, but I guess that was something I noticed.
David Tennant's 10th Doctor did that a lot, too. I don't think it's unique to just her, because he'd always say, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, or the person was about to die.
Yeah, and I feel like Matt Smith did a lot, too, in terms of, particularly with Amy and Rory, when he makes Rory Garter for 2,000 years and things like that. I feel like there are apologies there.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I also feel like some of this, as you say, is her still trying to figure herself out. And so she's making these promises based on her 1,000-year history, but then the newness of everything sort of smacks in and she's unsure of herself and having those moments. So maybe it won't be a recurring theme.
And then one thing is, in some ways, she still seems to me to be on autopilot. Let me explain that. In other words, she's like, because she's still figuring herself out, she's sort of just sticking with like the basics of being the Doctor. So I'm like when the first episode, she was sort of just like, got to solve the mystery, got to keep people safe. And this second episode, there still isn't that chance to breathe because it's still like, got to do the race, got to keep going. And so there's not a time to sort of get to know her a little bit, but she's sort of like, I got to keep people safe, got to be smart, guns are bad. It's sort of just this sort of, and it's not a criticism, but I just feel like she sort of hasn't got a chance to sort of like breathe in everything yet. She's just sort of going like, okay, these are the things I know I believe in, so let me just stick with those.
Although I think once she finds the TARDIS,
yeah,
and I think
calms
they make
down
a real conscious, slowness of things, obviously to present the TARDIS, but also this is the coming together and, her speaking very softly and gently to the TARDIS, I've missed you and I forgot my key, and those moments seem to slow down a little bit as it all comes back together. Mm-hmm. So maybe that was part of it.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't really gotten to know her yet, but we will.
Yeah. But I did enjoy the, again, if you're reintroducing, if people are watching for the first time, they don't know the Doctor is, I don't want to say pacifist because that's really not the right word for what she does. But anyway, doesn't like guns, at least explicitly. And so this is sort of be like, people would be like, oh no, of course, why wouldn't you? They're sort of being the Graham and Ryan characters. Why wouldn't we? And then, Ryan goes off playing Call of Duty and then gets his butt handed to him. And then she's like, yeah, see, that's why we don't do that.
I love that scene.
Yes, yeah.
Brains beat bullets. That's what.
Yep.
We need that on a T-shirt somewhere.
Now, Michelle, as someone who has done some cosplaying before, what do you think of the 13th Doctor's look? Because the more that I see it, the more I just love it. I think I'm not a gender bender cosplayer. I mean, it's great that people do. But I would just, it looks so cool. What she's wearing, it looks super comfortable. The colors are awesome. I mean, I think it'd be cool to wear if you were cosplaying the Doctor. But
I feel like I could do that without having to spend a lot of money.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. Although I have very mixed feelings about the short trousers. Just from my fashion perspective.
Well, my concern is then you have to shave your legs all the time.
Yes.
Does the Doctor have time for that? Does she care?
No.
Well, she's having to look.
Unless she's doing it in the swimming pool in the library. Otherwise, I'm having none of that.
Though I like to feel like all the Doctors have shaved their legs. We just didn't know it until now. It's all that running.
Yep.
You got to be aerodynamic.
Yep. I heard rumors that the pockets in the trousers are incredibly deep, which is fantastic.
We said something about the pockets at one point. I don't remember what.
I know she was just going from the first episode with Peter's pockets, or the 12th Doctor's pockets, and she's like, I need to get some new pockets.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but I am enjoying the look more and more. I think she changes the shirt or the color spectrum of the shirt next episode. So spoilers on that one.
Okay.
There was a lot of screwdriver use this episode, maybe too much, but whatever.
Well, she was trying to get a tremendous amount of information, so I was okay with it.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of doors.
Yeah. I want to find out if it works on wood this time.
Also thought I was curious how she dealt with Epzo. That was the male contestant, because he was definitely a personality, very much don't need anyone, don't trust anyone, which is sort of very antithetical to the Doctor's philosophy. So
look how big my cigar is.
Yeah. So it's just funny how much she dealt with him softly, and then also was poking him, like, how's that wound? Has it changed your entire life philosophy?
Well, Graham pokes at him as well, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Were you born this miserable?
She's like, did you practice those lines in a mirror? But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting one. So, The Amazing Race. Jessica, what do you think of the actual story?
I really like it. It's sort of The Amazing Race meets the Hunger Games, because not only are they in a dangerous situation, but only one of them is going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Although I saw the ending coming a mile away, but I'm not sure anybody else didn't. So,
mm-hmm. Well, and it's interesting, I think, from a story writing point of view, for me, how do you make episodes so when you actually want to win? We're like, everyone just been like, throw them in the water, we're still happy,
Yeah.
So you sort of have to slightly redeem him, which, they didn't really, other than he's like, my cigar, I'm not useless in this.
I found him a little bit redeemable from the beginning, because it was clear that he and the woman, any idea what her name was? No.
Angstrom, I think.
What was it?
Angstrom. I had the subtitles on for a while.
Angstrom, okay. I like it. Had some sort of history. So, it was clear. And even when he was being snarky with her, there seemed to be an undercurrent of
friendly rivalry.
Yeah, friendly rivalry that one of them was going to die, but there you go.
He was also willing to take the mutual win, too.
Yes,
which
yeah.
is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And hopefully his heart grew 5 sizes that day.
Money does that, I think.
Now, so one thing Jessica and I were talking about both before the series started and now that we're into it, Chris Chibnall has been all like, oh, these are going to be standalone episodes. These are going to be standalone episodes. And we're all like, okay, we'll see. But so we got in episode 2 a little sprinkling that there's an arc maybe in this story.
A little bit, yeah. We've got the Stenza repeating themselves.
Mm-hmm. Which, okay. That's it. Okay. I'm intrigued, I suppose.
It's a little bit coincidental, but I'll go with it.
Well, in other words, like, as first episode villains, I wasn't like, yeah, we need to see more of that guy. I was like, oh, okay.
We need to see more of that guy and his
I really don't need to see more of him.
Exactly. Just keep the mask on. Yeah. We know what's under there.
Just a little bit of mystery is good in a relationship.
Save the makeup guy some work, girl. Whatever. And then we get the reference to the timeless child. any I don't know, as watching that, Michelle, do you any are you looking forward to there being a larger arc to the story, or are you fine with sort of going more of an episodic nature here?
It depends on how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked longer arcs in the David Tennant era with like the Ood and how that tied everything together.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are arcs in the Matt Smith era where it got very convoluted and I ended up just being very confused and asking why a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So if it can do the first one or find a happy medium, I'm fine with that. If they do it well, I'm fine with it. I do like the episodic stuff too, though.
Yeah, I like a few threads running through that don't involve the silence. I think is what I'm going with. And I love the Ood, so...
Well, like, in other words, and again, I feel like I just poop on the 12th Doctor every episode. I don't mean to do that. But, like, the hybrid, that never made sense to me and seemed pointless, that whole storyline.
Yeah.
Who is it? And, like, in the minute, it didn't matter, really, or who it was. Like, it was just a pointless device of storytelling. Like, everything would have been fine if you had never mentioned it.
Yeah.
Still would have been the same.
I actually don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I've sort of blocked a lot of... I vaguely remember, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've blocked a lot of 12's early stuff out. I remember there was some Robin Hood.
Yes.
Yeah, which was worth blocking out, I'm afraid. And I love me a little bit of Robin Hood, but I did not love that.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so there is, I don't dive deep into the fandom. That's not true. But this only speculation I've seen, and I'm sure there's more out there. Some people are saying it could be a Susan reference, maybe.
Ah.
So the Doctor's granddaughter.
About, the Doctor's daughter, Jenny.
Jenny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sure. David would like to see Georgia get some more work.
Right. Somebody needs to support that family. Broadchurch is done now.
That's right. Chris is off doing other things.
Exactly. I'd heard that as a rumor.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but
the Doctor had children on Gallifrey at some point too, so maybe
Susan's parents.
Yeah. Well, probably just one of them.
Right. That's true.
Otherwise, that's then Susan might have been the hybrid, and I don't know what that means.
But yeah. I mean, I think that's an interesting because with again, not to make it the focal point, but with the Doctor being a woman, it presents different relationships to the Time Lords, to her family, to all that. And so, yeah, I think it would be interesting. Again, I always have to fight those things of like, much like Moffat, who loves to play with the world, the friend of the Doctor Who world, of the backstory, versus keeping a lot of it a mystery. What's the right balance? I don't know what the right balance is, because I do like it sometimes when he goes into it and we learn a little bit more about the past. But I hate to just learn the entire life story. It'd be like, this episode we're going to learn the Doctor's name. We'd be like, well, no, don't do that. So it's a balance, and so it'd be interesting to see what it is. But I hope it. I hope we just don't bait this every episode like a crack in the wall and just be like, okay, just leave it be. And...
a little bit of plaster, fix that sucker right up.
Well, this episode also did some long-awaited things. Speaking of teasing us, in the first episode, we did not get a series intro nor a TARDIS interior, but we got both of those in episode 2. So, Michelle, what did you sort of think of the opening? Quite short, I think I have to say, but what did you think of sort of the opening titles for the 13th Doctor?
I guess I liked it. I didn't have too many thoughts either way. It was good.
A little trippy.
Yeah. To me, it was sort of this probably is an original thought, sort of like the first, second Doctor, like sort of the original openings, but modern. In other words, sort of the same trippiness, but how you would do trippiness in the 21st century.
In color.
Yeah. So, for one thing.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people have said the new theme tune kind of harkens back to the classic era.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I thought it was also short because, there's a lot of more TARDIS tumbling and clock gears and the other New Who. This is just sort of like, Doctor Who.
Here it is.
Yeah. But I thought it was interesting. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that series producer actually has a credit, because usually it's just the actors and the writer title. This actually has showed, all the Doctor, the cast, and it had series producer, whoever, and then so I thought I was like, oh.
Yeah, you commented on that yesterday, and I just thought, what a geek.
Yeah. I noticed it. So, but yeah, I thought it was interesting. And then the new TARDIS interior, Michelle, what did you think of our new TARDIS? Well, exterior too, I suppose, if you want to argue it that way. But what did you think?
Yeah, the sign is a little different. It's like raised or
yeah.
I guess the text on the
Yeah,
police call box thing.
Instead of having the sort of white sign.
Yeah, is the shade of blue slightly different too? It
I think
looked a
so.
little more teal than like.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it is.
Royal
I think
blue.
it is. Yeah. So
Now we're gonna have to buy a whole new TARDIS, aren't
yeah.
we? We'll do that in February.
Yeah. One thing I thought about the inside, it's different, and I'm always, different is good. A little dark than I would have hoped for 13, because 13 is, her costume's very light colored. She presents a optimistic light, and so I was like hoping you'd be able to actually see inside of it a little bit more than what they've done, but maybe that'll change the lighting. But
yeah, we may see more, and I do love a good custard cream. And if
I didn't know what to think of it. It looked kind of industrial, but then there was things that looked kind of like glowing rock formations in the middle too. So I really don't know yet.
It was weird because not weird. It seems to sort of echo her screwdriver. I mean, it's weird that the TARDIS would know what her screwdriver looks like because it's based on the what's their faces recall crystal circuitry or whatever. But
oh right, yes, yeah, the Stenzas.
Yeah, Stenza. I'm not sure. I remember.
Yeah, but the TARDIS knows everything.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The roundrels, I suppose, is what you call them. The sort of callback again. There's a lot of classic callback.
Yes, yeah. I felt almost the inverted circle shape of it. It did feel very industrial. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it. But as you say, the glowy things sort of soften it a little bit. It'll be interesting to see more of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sort of definitely a different look, a unique TARDIS look. Because all of the New Who consoles kind of look, I mean, of course, this looks the same, I suppose. But like the actual time engine or whatever it's called tend to look the same. This one, we didn't actually see it in action. So it'd be interesting to see. And then
the controls looked kind of different too. Did you catch the thing where it like popped out a cookie or something for her?
That's what she was talking about.
The custard cream, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. It kind of reminded me of, the movie The Santa Claus with Tim Allen when they fancy up the sleigh and like hot cocoa and cookies come out. Kind of reminded me of that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I could live in a place where you, with the push of a foot button, there's your custard creams.
Yeah.
I like it.
And just the touch of the hourglass, the sort of spinny TARDIS. And I'm sure there's more, but yeah.
I liked the hourglass.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. So,
I don't know what it means, but I liked it.
that's how you evaluate all art, darling.
That is indeed,
You know what this
yes.
is. But I like it.
But I like it.
Sure. That's what you said about me during our wedding.
I still feel that way.
To me, so final thoughts here. So to me, the Ghost Monument didn't sort of hit it out of the park for me, but I thought it was good. Good character moments. Also, the shots were. I mean, in the first episode, I said the story was all right, but the characters. In this one, I'm like, story was all right, but the scenery, because this is what mostly shot in South Africa, and just it's obviously great cinematic things that they were able to do. So I thought it was definitely cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, I think the thing is, I think with all of the hype that led up to this, there was absolutely no way they were going to be able to hit it out of the park to meet everyone's expectations. And at the same time, everybody was going to love it, even if it was terrible. They may not have felt that way by the second episode, but certainly by the first. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Looking forward to seeing what's coming up next. There are questions I have, but I'm excited. It's just still very exciting.
Cool. And what are your final thoughts, Michelle, for the Ghost Monument?
I liked some of the touchy-feely stuff that they kind of touched on a little bit, and I hope become season-long arcs, like the people that keep going even though they're afraid. Like they mentioned, the Doctor's the most afraid of all of them because she has 12 lifetimes of fears and experience. And like they mention how Ryan keeps going even though he's really terrified, and then everybody needs other people when they're talking to that, what's that guy's name, Edzo?
Yes. Yeah.
I tend to notice the touchy-feely stuff more than like set design or anything like that. So
yeah,
I liked that aspect a lot.
Well, and how the companions, when the Doctor loses her hope, right before the TARDIS shows up, and the companions are like, nope, we're good. We're good. We're good. Yeah. We're all good. Are we all good? Yep, we're all good. So,
yep.
And of course, the big question is the ultimate arc. Is Ryan ever going to call him Granddad?
I feel like if they keep pushing, I feel like then like the last episode of the series will be like, and he calls him Granddad, and we'll all go, oh.
They're going to save it for the Christmas special.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
We'll all cry happy tears.
Exactly.
See, I'm still waiting for the Doctor and Bradley Walsh to be able to talk as grandfathers do.
Yes. Sit down in the study and talk about their grandchildren.
That's right.
Their pipes.
Yep. You mean
cigars. That whole cigar concept, while incredibly useful, obviously, seems dangerous.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting because when he said that, I thought the woman I thought was going to be a bit, spiteful and a nice one, just be like, there's your cigar.
Yeah, off
like,
it goes.
You bastard.
I thought that was happening too.
Yeah.
I probably would have done it.
Oh, I absolutely would have. Yeah.
Yeah, if I could.
While it was in his pants pocket. That seems appropriate.
All right. Well, Michelle, if anyone wants to talk to you about Doctor Who and what we have in store for the 13th Doctor, where can they find you on the interwebs?
Twitter's probably the best place. You can find me at mtoven, MTOVEN. And there's probably a lot of Star Trek and politics on there too, but occasionally Doctor Who.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
Go to the library now.
So into the TARDIS library. Speaking of dynamic women, we're going to talk about some TV. In this case, we're going to talk about the Sarah Jane Adventures Series 2.
Yes, wherein we have a miniature version of the Doctor and all of her companions, if you consider Bradley Walsh as a non-human boy.
That's right. Or possibly Mr. Smith.
Or possibly Mr. Smith. Oh, then we still need a Luke.
That's true.
Maybe he'll show up at some
true.
point. Yeah, we can hope.
So the entire Series 2 went from 29 September to 8 December 2008, which we were looking up to talk about the ages of certain actors and marveling that.
Yes.
I'm close in age, apparently, to
yes,
Clyde.
The boy who plays Clyde, during Series 2 was like 21 or 22. I mean, just, the others are sort of tootling along at 16 and 17, and he's, applying for Social Security and looking towards retirement.
Yeah, and so with the Series 2, Sarah Jane, it's kind of easy to talk about because, I'm sure listeners, you've watched it, but in case you haven't, sort of the setup with Sarah Jane, it sort of goes kind of old school classic Who setup in a modern way, where it is serialized, but it's only 2 episodes per serial. So it's 2, stories per story. So we can talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 stories, which means there's 12 episodes in the series. So, and they're fairly short episodes. So 25 ends on a nice, cliffhanger like the old classic Who would, and then goes from there. So, so we don't
And then the second episode always ends with them sitting around the living room laughing.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, Sarah Jane, like that.
Yeah, I guess we can go in order. We don't have to, though. But anyway, so The Last Sontaran was the first one. This is where we say goodbye to our first series regular.
Yes.
The girl who started it all.
Yes, Maria leaves. The actress actually left so that she could focus on her GCSEs, which are exams, for those of you who are not British, exams that you take when you're 16, when you're getting ready to leave school. So
it's like an SAT kind of? Or?
Sort of, but one for every subject.
Oh, it's like Harry Potter then, where you get your owls and stuff.
Okay. You're so weird. But yeah, I imagine it would probably be closer to a Harry Potter system because
Yes.
J.K. Rowling. So she does make a few appearances, and I think will continue to do so. I don't know that for sure.
I will spoil you and say I believe she does not.
Oh no, I'll be sad.
Yeah.
I still think that she grew up and married Prince Harry, because I think she looks just like a younger Meghan Markle.
Okay. And apparently now bearing the next royal child.
That's right, yeah.
So there you go. Spoilers. So yeah, I thought that was... And we got our first Sontaran, I believe, for Sarah Jane. It's always interesting when the classic Doctor aliens show up. Because for the most part, they're sort of unique aliens. Like, I assume it's sometime maybe a Dalek will show up, but that's going to be weird. But anyway. So,
I assume that they just sort of raid the props closet for Doctor Who.
Well, it was odd to see someone playing a Sontaran that wasn't the actor who's played it
yes.
in all of New Who. So the same actor every time. And I'm just going to go through, and it's something that... So the Day of the Clown, that was kind of a trippy one. We get our new... I don't know, what do we call them? They're not companions.
Child.
We get our new child, Ronnie.
Child laborers? Because they do a lot of the work.
And the Smith Scouts? I don't know. The Smithettes?
The Smithettes, no. The Smith Scouts, I kind of like that.
It's like the Sailor Moon.
But we have Ronnie, but we also get...
Bradley Walsh.
Bradley Walsh playing creepy clown / ringmaster guy. So that's fun.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting, when you have to replace a character, you don't want to go too similar, and I don't think they did. I mean, it's a girl replacing a girl. But, she's different. She's a little more, because I liked Maria, but Maria always presented a little younger.
Yes.
Whereas Ronnie presents a little older.
She's taller.
Yeah. That's all it is?
Which may be...
Well, she seems less naive than Maria.
Yes, I would say that that's true. And she...
Not that was a bad thing. I like Maria.
No. She's interested in being a journalist, which is how she ends up hooking up with the gang.
The Scooby Gang.
The Scooby Gang.
And her dad's the head.
Yes.
Record scratch.
And starts off, quite evil.
Right.
Which they sort of seem to turn fairly quickly, which is impressive. And she also moved into Maria's house, which is very convenient.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think I enjoy her as a character. She sort of complements the crew, so it doesn't really feel like anyone has left. I'm trying to think of character examples where you have a new character representing, and then you have to go about which one you liked better, and so
yes, yeah, you have to.
I guess
fight it out.
The Star Trek example, of course, would be like in Voyager, you had Kes, and then you had 7 of 9, and so. But anyway, so yeah, and so that was Day of the Clown, which was. I'm always. I mean, it's not. None of them are scary, obviously. But that was a little,
a little creepy.
Yeah, creepy.
A little creepy.
That was a little creepy. Secret of the Stars. That one was kind of, I mean, in not a bad way.
The psychic guy?
Well, the astrologer.
Yeah.
But yes. Yeah, that one was kind of, oh boy. Yeah. That one was good.
Yeah.
He was creepy. But in a, I don't know.
Appropriate way?
Yeah, inappropriate.
I don't know.
We had fun determining which one of us was going to get taken over based on our astrological signs.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Figuring out which one of us had to march first.
Yeah.
I think it was me, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it? Yeah, Libras stayed a lot till the end.
Yeah.
So.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Mm-hmm. And then we had The Mark of the Berserker. This one was interesting. We get Clyde's parents.
Yes. Yeah.
And, his dad apparently is not the greatest.
And became even less so when he got the Mark of the Berserker.
Yes. But we did get the return of Maria and her dad. I forget his name.
That's right.
But yeah, so.
Mr. Maria.
Mr. Jackson, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that was...
If you're nasty.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, boy.
I entertain myself, if no one else.
That's true, based on the amount of letters we get. But yeah, I actually think it was a good episode. Just given Clyde's family and get your Maria. I mean, that's sort of like your season, climax or whatever.
Yeah.
Your powerhouse stuff going together. And, sad ultimately because Clyde's father is not a great guy. Berserker aside. So, but yeah.
But Clyde's mother's pretty cool. So there's that.
Give him the option to figure it out. And then, so, yeah. We have The Temptation of Sarah Jane Smith. This is where...
Which I think might be my favorite.
Now, I have to admit, I think I fell asleep at the end. So...
It doesn't even surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, but that's more on me than the episode.
It mostly ends with them sitting in the living room and going, "Oh, that's so Sarah Jane," and everyone laughs.
Well, I'll tell you the part I missed. You can now explain it to me in front of everyone.
Oh, God.
So, near the end... What, and things were going crazy because the Trickster was being released or whatever in 1950, whatever. So what happened to cause the parents to get into the car and leave?
They realized, like, they had heard one of them talking about they need to get in the car, and so they just decided to do it. Mm-hmm. And that was a plot point that I wasn't particularly keen on because we never know where they were going or why they were going or what happens to them when they go.
Just drive towards the accident.
Yeah, they just understood that in order to make this go away, they had to get in the car and drive. And so that's what they do. And it felt a little twisty because Sarah Jane talks at the beginning, they just left me alone there. But actually what they do is leave the baby with Sarah Jane. And so it's a little twisty. But I enjoyed getting some of that history.
Yeah. One interesting part of Sarah Jane Adventures is getting the history of Sarah Jane, which of course, we think, we meet her with the the Third Doctor. The Third Doctor, and you're like, well, how much more could we know? But no, you don't know about her growing up, so we've learned about her. The Death of the Friend episode in series
that's
1.
Right, yeah.
Now have this with her parents. And so we get a little bit about her pre-Doctor life.
Everybody died.
Yeah. So that's why she was up for adventures.
Yeah, because nobody would be her friend, because if they did, they'd die.
Yeah, well, these kids.
The kids these days, indeed.
How
That's Sarah Jane.
And then we get the last one with The Enemy of the Bane, which I thought was very interesting as sort of a series, well, in Britain, series finale, season finale here. Series finale means something different in American. But anyway, Enemy of the Bane, I thought it was a nice flashback, because I didn't really think Sarah Jane would go there, of like, we're going to have the villain from the very first pilot episode come back, and then also have the Sontaran from the first episode of this series to villain team up.
Yep.
And then you get sort of Luke kind of delving into his origins, about what's it mean. And so I thought it was a really interesting, in as much as it was, episode. So what are you thinking overall as we end our second series of Sarah Jane?
I enjoy them. They're light. They're easy. Mm-hmm. We get through 2 episodes in one sitting without any pain, which I sometimes feel when we're looking at Classic Who. I'm like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? I think the 2 is a nice combination because you don't get to that place. So many times when we're looking at Classic Who, it feels like at least one of the 4 or 6 episodes is filler, and it starts to drag, and it just feels that way every time. And I don't get that with this. So yeah, I quite enjoy it. I'm looking forward to starting season 3, series 3.
Now, do you have, other than Sarah Jane, of course, do you have a favorite kid?
I quite liked Maria.
Heartfelt. I mean, I guess that she was naive earlier, but she's. Once she sees the danger and all that, she's up for it. She's prepared to.
Yeah, but I agree. She seemed much more childlike than Ronnie does. But then that sort of leaves Luke being the most childlike, and that's a strange juxtaposition for him to be in. But
well, he's still the naive one, still learning what it means to be a human child and all that stuff.
Yes, yeah. He's very much like Susan in terms of he knows a lot of things,
but he's always tripping and breaking his ankle.
Well, no, different. But is also tripped up easily on who
to trust
and cultural things. Right. When we have that first episode with Susan, Ian and Barbara are talking about how incredibly smart she is and talking about the 4th dimension in physics class. But then not knowing really simple cultural things.
In many ways, he's the timeless child. Oh my God.
Do you think Luke's going to end up on Doctor Who?
Wouldn't that be good? Wouldn't that be cool, though?
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
I can't say I would disagree with it. It would be an interesting...
Yeah, because, I mean, I haven't seen all of Sarah Jane, so I don't know how it ends. I mean, abruptly, unfortunately, is going to be the answer. But, those characters never got a whatever, goodbye, obviously, because Elizabeth Sladen died suddenly, and so, that was it. And so, but yeah, it would be interesting just to bring him back,
It would.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know necessarily Timeless would fit him.
Yeah.
Because he's growing up.
Mm-hmm.
If he stayed a child the whole time, but that's really hard to film.
Yeah.
So.
Children are hard to film.
Children, as a general rule, never work with children or animals.
I know, that's why the cat doesn't get on the podcast.
Absolutely. He would be impossible.
He has rubbish opinions anyway.
True that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So next week, of course, we'll be talking new Doctor Who, episode 3 with Rosa.
Yes.
Now, this will be
exciting.
Interesting. Written by, or co-written, I should say, by
Marjorie Blackman.
And Chris Chibnall. And so, I believe also directed by a woman of color. No, quote me, but I believe so.
Cool.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting how the Doctor and the American South of the 50s.
I think that I'm struggling to picture what it's going to be like in my mind because I keep going back to Quantum Leap.
Well, also, I'll be interested to know, since this is a British show and it's going to do an American story, it's like, oh, they're going to get something wrong. Which I'm sure they always feel the same when we tell their stories.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, I mean, is this the first time we've seen the Doctor go back to recent history?
Man, you guys are making me jog the old memory.
I know, sorry.
Well, I mean, there was the Day of the Moon. That was past Rosa Parks. That was more recent than Rosa Parks.
The moon landing?
Yeah, 68.
Yeah, but the moon landing
Nixon.
was almost peripheral. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Nixon, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That was less peripheral.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like we're going back for a distinct
whole story
moment.
Yeah. A 20th century, a post-war, because we do World War II a lot, obviously, in Britain, but a post-World War II story. Or a historical story, not just set in the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to see what they're going to do with it.
Just because, I mean, the sort of the popular image of Rosa Parks is not sort of meet with the reality that she was an activist. I mean, she wasn't just like, a kind old lady, I'd prefer not to. No, she did that on purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was,
and she wasn't the first to do it. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Because as you say, the Rosa Parks story tends to get romanticized into this, just this poor hardworking woman, which doesn't give Rosa Parks nearly the credit she deserves for what she did. So,
Yeah, part of a group. So anyway, we'll be talking with another great special guest to help us figure out this 13th Doctor. And so until then, darling, we encourage everyone to read, watch, and listen to all of the Doctor's adventures in all of time and space.
Hooray!
This is BBC Television.